wakeupcalldt, on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on facebook.com, being shared on facebook.com/livenowdt, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.com. Plenty of ways to tune into the show, plenty of ways to listen live every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So I appreciate you being here and spending some time with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and very much looking forward to today's broadcast. Today's broadcast is very, very near and dear to my heart, very special to me, and that is because it is featuring two people that I've met through my work, and these two people that I met through my work are tremendous people. They have their own incredible stories, and they've always been good to me, always treated me well, and I'm so looking forward to making them more mainstays on the show, and for you to get used to hearing them on the broadcasts here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So the first being Shamarko Thomas. Shamarko and I built a friendship over the years and have continued that friendship from his time at Syracuse playing football to going into the NFL and playing as well. And our friendship has just blossomed. And I'm very, very honored, very excited to have Shamarko on the broadcast with us in like I said, in a more frequent role. And so Shamarko and I are doing a piece here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora that is going to be titled On the Mark. And I'm very excited for this and the opportunity to have him here with us for On the Mark. So it's going to be a segment that you're going to hear a couple times a month featuring Shamarko Thomas. And instead of, hearing him a couple times a year on the show, you're going to hear him a couple times a month. Shamarko joining me to speak on sports and life. You know that Wake Up Call is where sports meets life. And I've tried to find people that can truly embody that. And then, as those relationships build, there's been over 2,000 people on the show, and I feel so grateful and honored to have had so many different voices here and so many different personalities and so many different storytellers. And in my time of speaking with all these people, I've had the opportunity to build relationships, and in building those relationships, some of these bonds have gone, far and beyond anything I could have ever imagined. And one of them being with Shamarko Thomas. So this segment On the Mark, I asked Shamarko to be a part of the show more regularly because he truly embodies where sports meets life. I mean, he is the embodiment of where sports meets life, and he'll tell you why today. So On the Mark is an all-new segment that you're going to hear on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, a new piece that is going to make Shamarko Thomas much more frequently heard on the show. So we're very happy to have Shamarko with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. The other segment that you'll hear inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios is called Sports Ends in a Vowel. And this is featuring Gina Castelli. Gina Castelli is someone that I met 8 years ago. And really when I came back to Syracuse, I met her shortly after. And I sat in the lobby outside of what is now Ted Grant Court at Lemoyne, and she was the new head coach hired to guide Lemoyne Dolphins women's basketball into a place of prominence. She did exactly that. They won their first ever Northeast 10 Conference Tournament Championship. She got to cut down the net. Huge moments with Gina Castelli advancing to the NCAA tournament, and she decided going into this season that she was going to retire from being the head coach of the Lemoyne Dolphins women's basketball team. But we've built such a strong relationship, and she really means a lot to me. And she's been a beautiful person, a very positive person in my life. And both of us being Italian, when I came up with the name for this segment, it just made sense to have it have something to do with Italian and something to do with sports. So that's why this segment is called Sports Ends in a Vowel. And Gina Castelli will be joining me more frequently as well, just like Shamarko, because she's one of those people that has been on the show that really has left a lasting impression because of the relationship that we have formed and the bond that we have. So Sports Ends in a Vowel will also be debuting today on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, which I'm very excited about. And then we'll do what we always do on a Tuesday and round out the show with the ingredients. Speaking of Italian, the ingredients to success, proudly brought to you by Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. And we'll do that around 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time. So a lot of great stuff coming up on today's broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. On the Mark has its debut with Shamarko Thomas, a new segment that Shamarko will be co-hosting with me. Sports Ends in a Vowel, a new segment that Gina Castelli will be co-hosting with me. And the ingredients to success, proudly brought to you by Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. So a lot of great stuff coming up. A lot of great show coming here for you inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. We love being here with you. I appreciate you so very much. Thank you for spending some time with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora this morning. And with that being stated, we'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, plenty of show, starting with On the Mark, as Shamarko's segment with me officially debuts, a product of Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. On the Mark comes to you live for the first time ever, right after this fast break, where sports meets life, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Happy to be here with you where you're listening live. You're watching live on facebook.com/live-now-DT, as well as on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So however you're tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, thank you so much for being here and spending some time with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. As I told you before, very excited today to be bringing you all new segments that are going to take people that you're used to hearing on the show and make them more frequently connected and put them in a position where they get to co-host something with me. So, inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', we have On the Mark, which is going to be featuring Shamarko Thomas. Shamarko is going to be joining us in just a second from Syracuse and NFL history. Shamarko will be here with us more frequently on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Our conversations have, to me, been very inspirational. They've been multi-layered and have truly been an honor and a privilege for me to share with you. So, with that being said, I am very blessed that Shamarko is going to be joining us on a more frequent basis and telling stories, speaking on sports, speaking on life, and really just diving deep into topics that can hopefully help you, because that's what this show is all about. I'm not about giving statistics. I mean, yes, we'll talk stats and we'll connect things and whatnot, but this show is so much more than that. And in what we've worked to be here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, that statement means a lot to me. That statement holds a lot of weight. I don't just say it to say it. And so with Shamarko, I have this grand opportunity to really dive into that. And then with Gina Castelli in hour number 2, in a segment that she's going to be co-hosting with me called Sports Ends in a Vowel, 2 Italians talking about life, talking about sports, and another opportunity to dig deep. And I'm very excited about what these 2 inaugural segment moments mean. The fact that we get to unveil 2 new segments back-to-back with one another today is really a remarkable thing, and it couldn't be done without having great people in my corner that I feel God has blessed me with. So with that being stated, very excited to bring on Shamarko first and foremost here in a show called On the Mark, obviously a playoff of Shamarko's name, but also a grand statement that we'll get into what that exactly means on today's broadcast. The inaugural episode within an episode, On the Mark with Shamarko Thomas. Shamarko, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you doing, man? I'm very blessed.
I'm doing well, man, and just what you can say. I mean, we talked about it off the air, but just why you said yes to doing a more frequent segment here on the show, as opposed to, I mean, you've been a great guest. You come on a few times a year. Why make it more frequent?
Because ultimately, man, I feel like you're one of my heroes, man. Honestly, every time I come on this show, everybody in life has ups and downs, but I feel like you inspire me and keep me positive. And every time I come on this show, I got another motivation. So why not join up with my top dog, my friend, man? Just everything, even the mentor, you don't understand. But just why not, man? Because at the end of the day, I want to inspire others. I know we both can. And just definitely hearing and learning from you, man, I learned so much. So I'm just blessed and grateful at the end of the day, man. I know God made this happen, you know what I'm saying? A great opportunity, and I'm just ready to, show up.
Those words, Shamarko, I can't tell you how much they mean to me, because I don't know how to, I mean, I really don't. I don't know how to answer them, because, I mean, you saying that I'm one of your heroes when I've felt the opposite the whole time I've known you. You showed me, and I've said this plenty of times, but you've showed me on the field how to never give up. Never give up on a play, never give up on a situation, always be there for your teammates, always, be somebody that people can count on. And, you led by example. You led by showing people the way. And then looking at your story with, everything that happened with your parents, and you having to navigate through that and to, to really become not a father, but the entire parental, representation for all of your siblings, and then to have your own kids and be a father to them on top of already being a father. And amidst all of this, chasing your dreams and trying to go to school and playing the sport that you love, and then making it to the NFL, and then understanding that it's a business and trying to navigate through that and having to move to different places. Your life has been the opposite of easy. And so, I mean, for you to call me your hero, I am honored by that. I'm honored by all your words. And at the same time, I feel that, anybody that would come to know you would consider you a hero in the fact that you have done the impossible without being, not having your parents, the impossible of moving forward from that, the impossible of being a sibling and a parent, the impossible of then becoming a parent, the impossible of making it to the NFL, the impossible of, being a student athlete amidst all of this and doing what you can, and the impossible that people don't think about, that it's very difficult to have a full-time job as a student, a full-time job as a player. You've done all these things in one human being. It's not 5 of you, it's Shamarko. And I think it's truly remarkable what you've achieved in your life at such a young age. I can't wait to see what you're going to do next, but I feel like there was so many roadblocks where you could have given up and you never did. So I think when we talk about heroes, Shamarko, I think it's very easy for me to take the countless people that I've talked to in 35 years of my life and say that you're at the top of that list.
I can't appreciate you for all that, man, but I'm just a regular guy and grateful and just let God push me through anything, and you know what I'm saying? And I know He's got my back, so I know all the stuff sounds, I love them words, man. It's an honor to anybody to feel like that towards me. But really, man, it's all God. It's all God. It's truly all God.
And I feel the same way. I give God all the credit, for everything that God puts in my life and everything that He does. Shamarko, it's called On the Mark. I decided to name it this as a play on words off of obviously your name with Mark inside of Shamarko. But what does it mean to you to be on the mark?
Man, it means everything, man. I never had a show or a collab with anybody, I'm usually an introvert by myself, and when you came up with the idea, I was so excited to take on the opportunity. It means everything. Just to be able to be a part of something, positive, and to inspire others and motivate others and get people out there, negative minds, and, brighten people's day. You don't know who you're touching around the world. And I'm just thankful for the opportunity you give me to be able to touch people in the world in a different way, not just with my past,
Yeah, and I appreciate that very much so. And when we talk about, it's obviously a statement that people have used, to be on the mark. And, there's on the mark, get set, go. There's on the mark when you're acting something out and you're on stage and you have to hit your mark. What is it to go into the actual wording of this segment? What does it mean in your life to be on the mark? How are you on the mark, so to speak?
I'm on the mark by just grinding hard and chasing my dreams, and like you said, never giving up on blowing. It's always gonna come on time because it's God's plan. And on the mark, man, it's just a restart, a refresh. You know what I'm saying? Being on key and just being true to yourself, man, and growing each and every day.
And as we grow, we speak on where sports meets life is been the tagline of my show, Wake Up Call, forever. Really. And when we look back at, where sports meets life means, I said that you being a part of this show is huge because you embody where sports meets life. And life, throws us a lot of curveballs, and we have to, kind of navigate through a lot of different things in life. So as we're here with Shamarko Thomas, Syracuse and NFL alum, and a good friend of mine for a new segment on Wake Up Call called On the Mark. Shamarko, for you, where do you want to focus our energy this week? This being the inaugural segment that we're doing here, there's a lot of different things we always talk about. What's on your mind? What's on your heart? Where would you like to focus to start things off?
Overcoming, mentally, physical, and spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Just overcoming and believe that knowing is God's timing and plan.
So we speak on overcoming things and on God's timing. God's timing is perfect. We try to manipulate God's time. We try to change God's time. When God's not looking, which He always is, we try to essentially take His watch and turn the dial a little bit. God just turned His head. Wait, quick, make it from 3 to 9. But we do that. We try to change the time. We try to speed up a lot of things. And there's things in my life I could ask God to speed up. There's things in your life as well, Shamarko. And, God's timing is perfect. Give me an example of when God's timing has been perfect for you. A moment where you know, in your life thought that this was supposed to be a certain way or it was supposed to happen at this time, and then something happened differently, and you just felt like, wow, you know, that's better than I could have expected. What's an example of that for you?
I always go back to the same story with my mom. You know what I'm saying? She passed away, and we started summer camp. And I think I had a bad practice, and I ended up finishing with breaking my you're breaking my thumb. You know, not my thumb, my pinky. You know, so I tried to catch a pick, and my hand got caught in the grass or the ground. And it was just a bad day. And I remember my teammates was like, you know what I'm saying, like, we all going here to eat, or, you know, what's the place? Marshall Street to eat. And I didn't want to go. I just left my car and walked. And it's a soccer field by UV. And something just was calling my name over there. Like, something just came over me, you know, and I walked over there. And everything just came back, you know, thinking about, like, why I do this for, you know, man. I just lost my stepdad. Now I'm 9 months before my mom. It's like, my mom was the person I was grinding for, trying to get to the NFL, try to feed my family, you know, and I didn't know the reason why I got to my mom so fast, because I was that close. You know, I felt in my heart I was that close. And I didn't know it was football or go back home and be a regular person, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't know it was over. So honestly, I just stepped in the middle of the field and asked God, if this is football is meant for me take care of my family, me being the leader is meant for me, man, I'm ready to take on any and everything, you know. But if it's not, I'm okay with that too, because at the end of the day, it's God's plan. And I remember just crying and talking to my mom, talking to God, and going to sleep that night. And I felt like my mom was talking to me at first in my dream, and then I had a vision. It was, you know what I'm saying, of me intercepting, I think, Matt Barkley. And I didn't think nothing of it, you know what I'm saying? I told my teammate the next day, my roommate, and then, shoot, the season, it was crazy because my first game, I don't think I had one tackle against Northwestern. And then the big build-up from the USC, you know what I'm saying, they was telling my story. You know, it was a great week in practice. I was more happy. I was real focused and tuned. And then I just got out my characteristics when we stepped on that field. I remember, because Coach Brown always takes us the day before and go walk on the field, and I remember stepping in the middle of that NFL logo and telling that I was going to get this dream, and this is going to be me. And that's my first time coming out my chair. Like, football, I'm a quiet person. I don't do all that celebration or cause attention to myself. I just play football with my pad, you know, and that's how my mom raised me, you know what I'm saying? Work hard, keep your head down, and stay focused, you know what I'm saying? So I remember USC was in the tunnel. We came out first, and like, something just made me just go over there and look the head coach in the face, like, what is in the tunnel, and say, it's time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's my time. And the second half, I caught the interception, bro. I remember my homeboy said, I remember you told me this in the summer. Like, it was just, I knew it was God's plan, it was God's time, and that, you know what I'm saying? So that's the story I always know, that God is real, you know what I'm saying? No matter what you go through, the suffering, the hardships, the trials, tribulations, man, God is real. God is amazing.
Yeah, you know, and that's it's such that's, you know, that story and so many stories around the world, they're beautiful when when you know, like you said, stepping on the NFL logo, saying I'm going to get this dream, I know I will, and having the dream of getting the interception and then doing it, you know, that had to bring so much peace to you and happiness and kind of just smiles in your life, knowing that things can come through. And I can't tell you how many times I've driven in my car and I just smile because I know that, you know, God did something today. You know, he just got through to me somehow. It's amazing how someone in my life who is like newer in my life can say something to me, and it's something that, you know, I've heard my whole life. It's something that I heard from somebody that I love so dearly. That's kind of like a cool thing, like where my grandma, I called her G-Mama, when she would give me this advice and she'd say these beautiful things, and then I'm driving in the car with my girlfriend and I'm on the phone with her and she says it. And there's no way she could know that my grandmother said that to me. And so it's moments like that click. It's, just, I remember, I have a story, and I don't know if I've told this on the air. I probably maybe have. I don't know to what extent, but Dale Shackelford, another good friend of mine who also has done segments with me. We did about 3.5 years of Syracuse pre and post basketball coverage on site, on location, all throughout central and upstate New York. And I want to thank all the businesses that had us there. Dale one day, I always wanted to play basketball at Syracuse. And, God gave me a talent where I could shoot from anywhere. I honed that talent and I practiced that talent and, shot 43s and, and then step back and then keep shooting and step back. And so, God gave me the talent to be able to shoot. And at the same time, I'm 5'8", not 6 foot whatever. So, I didn't obviously get recruited up there. I needed to do more cardio anyways. And I did get called D3. And I got that one phone call from my alma mater, which I appreciated. But to me, I always wanted to play at Syracuse. It was a dream of mine. I grew up thinking I'll wear number 21, my favorite number. I'll play at Syracuse. I'll go to play for the Toronto Raptors after that, play with Damon Stoudemire. And so I'm at a camp at Syracuse in August years ago, and I met Dale Shackelford and a good friend of mine, Gary Barnaba. Shout out to Mr. B. Him and I were talking, and we connected, or he connected me to a lot of people, Gene Waldron, Dale Shackelford, and so on. And so I'm talking with Dale, and I got to meet Dale, and Dale remembers the day he met me, which means the world to me. And so I'm on the court, and there's nobody playing on the court at the time, and there's courts all over the dome. And so here I am on Jim Boeheim Court, the official Syracuse basketball court, in the same place that it is when they're playing their games. And I'm just shooting around. And it was so surreal to step onto the court. Normally when I go onto a court, I'm shooting and I'm like, oh, this is great. But when I stepped onto that court, I was like, I don't know, to me I felt like I was in a different place. And I was like, the ball can't go off the court. It can't, I got to make these shots. I got to do well. But it was more kind of, there was a different feel to it. And I remember I took a shot and the ball bounced off the court and it bounced to Dale. And Dale looked at me and I put my hands out for him to pass it to me. And he passed it. It bounced once. It hit my hands. And I was right by the free throw line. And I said, Dan, I don't care what shots you've made or haven't made in your life. You have to make this shot. And I was on the right side of the free throw line. I took the ball, I dribbled it, I turned, and I released it, and the shot went in. And I pointed to Dale, and I said, you need to call the record books and add an assist to your all-time Syracuse record. And he said, I'm counting it as an assist. And so he agreed with me, and we kind of smiled and had a moment. And I remember in that moment that I never got to play on Syracuse's court. I never played for Syracuse. But when I stepped on that court and I had an opportunity by myself to be there, and here's a former Syracuse basketball player recruited by Jim Boeheim, passes me the ball, and I make that shot, and it's an assist from Dale Shackelford. I'm at the Syracuse S, I'm inside the dome, and I'm taking a pass from one of the former players. To me, that was God saying, you wanted to play on this court, and you got the chance to. And I can feel that in my body when I talk about that.
That's amazing. God's plan. God's telling you, you never know how it's formed. You're always on time. That is amazing. That's amazing.
So, it's moments like that we have to take. And this morning, I know that people are going through a lot. I know that, some people are listening to the show right now having trouble with family. Some people are having trouble with their jobs. Some people are having trouble with a significant other. Some people are sick, could have a cold, could have something more serious. Some people are still afraid of the pandemic. Some people are, trying to make big decisions in their lives about kids, about do they get a puppy, do they get a cat. Some people are moving. Some people are going off to college. Some people are coming home from college. Some people are ending one chapter and starting another. Some people just got into a chapter and are running through it and really taking it in. Some people have gone away from church. Some people are going back to church. There's so many different things that could be happening on the other end of this line. Shamarko, what do you want to say to people out there? As we start this segment for the first time ever on the mark, and I make you more of a mainstay here on the show as a guest, what do you want people to know that are going through all different pieces of life? Some people are welcoming a new life into the world. Some people are saying see you later to a life that's gone back home. There's so much going on in today's world. People living, people passing away, people with good news, people getting not so good news. Everything is literally going on around us. What do you want the world to know?
Like I always say, be grateful each and every day. Be thankful to wake up in the morning and breathe, to have limbs if you have limbs, to have family if you have family, because somebody else is always going through something worse, and that's what keeps me positive, man. Truly just being grateful for everything, every step, every movement, every breath I take, because some people didn't wake up this morning, you know what I'm saying? And just be truly grateful, man. And through the hard times, that's the biggest times to be truly grateful, because like I said, somebody in this world is going through way worse in life, you know what I'm saying? And some people going through the same things, you know what I'm saying, taking it in a different aspect. And just remember, like I always say again, God is always on time when you're grateful and thankful, man, and you cherish the little things.
Yeah, and that's the reality, to be grateful for the time that we had. And Shamarko, you and I have had so much time together. We've gotten to do so many different things, different conversations and whatnot. What defines friendship to you? What defines a good personal relationship? I think that's important.
I'm good at it. A friendship is more than just talking and conversation. It's energy. Knowing that the person is genuine, knowing that the person really cares and truly honors and respects who you are. A friendship is ultimately the thing that gets you through things. I think God put certain people in place and certain people in your life to help you go and elevate to the next level, to inspire you, you know what I'm saying? And friendship is everything, That's coming from a kid that truly never had a friendship besides with my mom, my family, And now I consider you family, because honestly, you're helping me through a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes it doesn't matter how much money you have or the material things you have. Sometimes you're truly lonely inside, so friendship can help you in so many ways. Man, God put so many people in your life to just uplift you and knowing and telling you that God's on time and I'm always here. So friendship is very important.
Yeah, coming from Shamarko Thomas here with us for On the Mark, and a new segment here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, product of Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, where Shamarko will be on the show much more frequently in this segment with us. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Shamarko and I have plenty more to talk about inside of our new segment, On the Mark, which is right here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studio. So hang out with us here where sports meets life. Shamarko and I will be continuing the conversation right after this.
Yeah.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand butter chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, also being shared on facebook.com/livenowdt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So however you're connecting with the show, thank you so much for tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. We are here with Shamarko Thomas inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, and Shamarko joining me for a new segment called On the Mark, which will put Shamarko on the broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora more frequently throughout the month. Shamarko, what are some things, as we get set for On the Mark and what we're going to talk about, where are some of your interests? Because you and I talk about everything. We talk about music, we talk about movies, we talk about life, we've discussed obviously football and whatnot. Where do you want to jump in? I mean, let's dive in today to something that really, what's on your mind today? Is it music? Is it movies? Is it a TV show? Is it a book? I want to jump in somewhere today to, help people to be on the mark. And what I'm saying by that is, to help people to kind of focus on something positive and hit that mark today, hit that positivity today. What is something on your mind? Be it movies, be it music, whatever it may be.
We can talk about music and movies, and ultimately that movie you told me to watch, I watched it that same night, and man, that movie's hilarious. It was hilarious. We was playing soccer and stuff, but what's the movie called again? I forgot.
Kicking and Screaming.
That was the movie, but honestly, after all that, it made me think about life, because this coach was a goofy, funny coach at first, you know what I'm saying? And kids loved him, excitement. They probably wasn't winning, but them kids was enjoying his life. But when he took it, when he brought in that competition mentality with his father, he turned into a different person.
Yeah.
And that's life. People turn different persons through different challenges in life and all that stuff. And I want to leave a message to everybody. Through that movie, I thought, no, Don't change yourself because you're going through hard times and situations in your life. Be the same person God created you to be, genuine love, or whoever God made you out to be to fulfill your dreams and goals. Be that. Don't change for nobody, because at the end of the day, you're God's child, man. And He put you in this situation. He gave you these traits, and He gave you this persona that people is drawn into you. And be you, and be who God wants you to be, and He created. So it was a funny movie, man, but I got a life lesson out of it.
Yeah, and I love that you did. Shamarko talking about the movie Kicking and Screaming, featuring Will Ferrell, and I had suggested that he watched it because I kind of just refound my passion for the movie, so to speak. I refound my connection to it because my girlfriend Teresa, her family, they love this movie. And I never thought that like anybody else watched it but me, and I still remember. I know a bunch of parts of it now, more so. But her family quotes movies very well. And her dad, this is one of the movies that he quotes, and her brother Greg and whatnot. But I never forgot I'm angry. I'm spitting angry. I'm like a tornado of anger swirling about. My heart rate is dangerously high right now. That helps me. And it was funny because, when Teresa was kind of talking to me about, if I'm upset, she kind of said, like, I pictured you like that. And it actually helped me it helps you to not be upset when you picture yourself in that moment where you're like, I'm spitting angry. I'm a tornado of anger swirling about. So it really honestly does help me to kind of alleviate the stress of the moment, to laugh about it. But yeah, this movie is so funny, and I mean he says some crazy things. He says, he says, he's like, Ambrose, he's like you're big. Don't be afraid to throw the elbow, break a collarbone. He's like, that's what the medics are for, or else he's just sitting there doing nothing. So like, I mean, like to hear this stuff is outrageous, but and I also use a thing Teresa uses a lot. It's like, you're different but better, in a better but different way. So but it's the movie has so many quotes and so many funny moments, but yes, there is a deeper message in the movie Kicking and Screaming that is the fact of don't change who you are in order to don't lose yourself in life trying to be like other people or to be better than other people, and when you do achieve success, but you achieve it not being who, God made you to be, not being who you truly are, not being a good person, not being a moral person, is it truly winning? So, I think there's so many underlying messages in Kicking and Screaming that, as funny as the movie is, it's, losing sight of your kid, losing sight of your wife, losing sight of love, losing sight of your family, only being focused on defeating somebody or proving somebody wrong or being better than somebody else, and how, you may achieve what that other person considers success, but you lose yourself in the midst of it all. And is it ever winning when you have to lose yourself in order to raise the trophy, is the question.
Not at all, man. I was raised on being my true self, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you're losing yourself, you're losing sight of God, and that's the difference I feel like in that movie was. And it was the funniest thing. Even when you say the joke and all the quotes he says, he's saying in a funny way, that's ultimately saying being positive, he's being himself, he's being positive, and through everything, like you said, you gotta laugh it off, you know what I'm saying? And that's the person that knowing who they self is and knowing that through everything, God got you, and God got you. And how I put it, it's just amazing how a funny movie can tell you about life and how to take it on and conquer and get through things and realize things about yourself that you have to fix. And, you know what I'm saying? Stay in tune, because staying in tune is putting God first and believing that God has put you on the right path. You don't have to change for nobody, just be you.
Everybody wave goodbye to Juicebox. Literally wave. Do it! Parents too. But I mean, I mean, looking at Mike Ditka being like, who do you think I am? You're the juice box guy. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. And then he's like, why don't you go to hell? He's like, why don't you go to hell? And when you're there, why don't you grab me a juice box? Like that, it's so funny, but it's so real. It's getting into things for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. It's remembering who you are. And when you find success in life, when you find money, when you find, prosperity, when you find notoriety, to not lose who you are. Because think about this. When you didn't have the money and the prosperity and the notoriety, you were trying to get Shamarko Thomas to this place. I'm trying to get Dan Tortora to this place. If you lose yourself along the way, here's the irony of life. You get the prosperity, you get the notoriety, you get the money, and guess what? You didn't bring Shamarko and I didn't bring Dan. How crazy is that?
That's really crazy, man. It's the true fact.
So you have to be able, you have to understand that in the road of life, when you're trying to get self.
Not at all. I feel like if I forgot myself, then I forgot the desire and my why. That's the biggest thing. Don't never forget your why, and forget where you came from and what built it and molded you to who you are. So if I forget myself, then you can lose it all because you don't have that same why. You don't have that same structure. You don't have that same mold that got you to that point in life. So reality, you speaking facts, and it's the truth. You got to bring Dan or Shamarko to that successful spot and be you through the whole thing. And you see how magical God will work.
Speaking here with Shamarko Thomas in a new segment called On the Mark, which is going to put Shamarko more front and center on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and special things we get to do every single month. Conversation could go anywhere, any given time that Shamarko's on the show, as it always does.
Yeah.
But we seek to inspire, and we seek to help. We seek to laugh and have a good time. Shamarko, so you watched Kicking and Screaming. I asked you to watch that movie. You took the suggestion and watched it that night. What suggestion do you have for me? What movie should I watch? What one or two or a couple movies should I be paying attention to that you can say? I think it's only fair that since I suggested one and you watched it, that you suggest one back to me.
Ooh, that's tough. Let me see, because I watch a lot of movies, man. Not like recently, but I watch a lot of movies with my family and family did, but we watch a lot of movies. But let me think of one. It's been a minute. A good movie that's just real life. To me, it's hard because it's not one movie that touches me in a way where it describes life besides like old football movies that you probably already watched, like Remember the Titans. Man, even people will laugh. I watch Titanic, the movie with my kids, the Lion King movie. Like, yes, I know it's a long time ago, but the Lion King movie, and how everything came at the end, the son became the king and, created his own family and all the hardship and stuff that went through the movie. So you already seen these type of movies. I'm a little old school movies, or I watch haunted house, like scary movies with my kids. So, and fun movies. So it really. Oh, the movie I just watched yesterday. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. But what's that? The movie with Kevin Hart. He just came out with To Be a Father or something. What's that movie called?
Oh, it was. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I just watched it. And that's what, I ain't gonna lie, it's supposed to be that's like a real serious movie for Kevin Hart. Usually he's like a comedian. He's still funny in the movie, but
it's called Fatherhood.
Yeah, Fatherhood. And shout out to Kevin Hart because he comes right on time. He talked about it on the Red Table with Will Smith and how to be a father. And that movie really like woke me up on life. And be truly thankful that, I got how I put it, my kids are always safe, and it could be worse, you can lose you could have lost my wife when she had one of my kids, and that's what the movie's about. He lost his wife, he had to become a father, and he didn't by himself. He didn't know how to do it, but he was ready to take on the challenge. And I feel like he took it in the aspect where he's ultimately was competing with people at first, you know what I'm saying, with the the mother's mom and his mom, like he wanted people around him. So I'll come back home and he took on the challenge like, no, this is where I stay, this is where I'm from, this is where I love to be at, this is where all my friends at, this is where all my support system at. Why y'all don't think I can take care of my own child, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, by myself. And even at his work, his boss was like, dang, you think you really do this? It comes with a lot. And everybody was telling him he couldn't. But the ultimate, it doesn't matter what people say and what you cannot do in life, man. When God put a challenge in you and you truly desire and love and generally feel like this is for you, man, take it on. Because, man, like I said, in the beginning of the movie, it was hitting all the points. He didn't expect his wife to die. He didn't expect he was going to be a father by himself. He didn't expect people to think he couldn't raise his kid by himself. But he took on that task with his ultimate faith in God. And I feel like you should watch that movie because it just teaches you about just taking on challenges no matter what people say. You know how many times people just say you can't do. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, his love for his child changed his mind towards any and everybody. You know what I'm saying? He had to become this. And it wasn't easy. You know, you go to challenges, you go to ups and downs where you want to give up and all that stuff. But don't. At the end of the day, you feel that in your heart that this is your course, this is your path, this is what you got to go through to be molded and built. Man, take it on because God is going to give you more than you imagine. He's going to bless you more than imagine if you follow through.
Great words coming from Shamarko Thomas here in the segment On the Mark, debuting today, June 29th, 2021 on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. It's funny that you mention, everything you just said about the movie Fatherhood by Kevin Hart on Netflix because that was one of the movies I wanted to watch. And my one of my little brothers didn't want to watch it, so I was like, all right, I'll watch it by myself. But that was one that there was anything with Kevin Hart, I'd give a shot to. So I think it's cool that you mentioned that since I was thinking about watching it. Now that you jogged my memory on it, I will watch it, and I'll let you know what I think, and I'll watch it today. In the spirit of fairness, in our friendship. I said you should watch Kicking and Screaming. You watched it that night. So you said watch Fatherhood. I will watch it today, and I will report back to you my thoughts. But
I appreciate it, man. It's just amazing. It came on time, you know what I'm saying? And the signs in that movie, that's why I tell you, movies or people or anything, God will put a sign in front of you, man. You just got to notice and realize what it's for. And it just taught me so much in that movie, and I'm truly just thankful and blessed. God just told me, bro, you could be in worse situations. You know what I'm saying? Just be grateful. You know what I'm saying? Your kids are safe. I mean, life is good, and you're blessed, man. People have it worse, man.
Yeah.
God has got you on the right path, no matter what the challenge is.
Well, and that's the thing is we always everything is relative, so what's ever in front of us we think is the worst thing ever. We don't think about, okay, well, I'm alive today. And I tell people this all the time because it really changes your perspective, and I have to remind myself daily. But when somebody cuts you off in traffic, you're alive for them to cut you off. When somebody doesn't give you the right dressing on your salad, you're alive for them to screw that up. When it takes 10 more minutes to get your coffee, you're alive for those 10 minutes that it took to get your coffee. When you stub your toe, you're alive to stub your toe. And what I'm saying by all this is the things we complain about, we're alive to complain about. And I tell people all the time, if you can call somebody up and complain to them about your life and they listen and they love you, that's another blessing that you don't even think about. When you pick up the phone and you call someone and talk about, oh, you wouldn't believe what da-da-da did to me today, you have somebody to talk to about your problems.
Yes, sir.
That's another blessing in life. So, we look at problems and say, woe is me. I look at problems and say, I'm alive to have them. So,
Yeah, exactly.
I could be 6 feet under and I ain't got no problems because I'm gone. So, I think, in the moment, somebody coming down with COVID or or a business closing, or losing money, or having cancer, or, you know, my buddy that has ALS. There's so many things that can, you know, affect us and really take our eye off the ball. But my buddy said to me, and I love him, and he, you know, publicly told everyone he has ALS, Jim Sikowski, who I met through working with Chick-fil-A and partnering with Chick-fil-A, and we built a friendship over these last 3 or 4 years. When we sit together, we talk about a lot of things, and, you know, he was talking to me about living life and how even he, who I look up to, he said, Dan, I spent the majority of my life looking toward the future, looking back at the past. And I very rarely looked at anything that was right in front of my face, and now that's all I got.
Yes, sir.
And it shouldn't take tragedy to wake us up, and sometimes it does. And I'm not saying it did with Jim, or Jim is a fantastic person. I'm just using an example.
Yes, sir.
But when you sit with someone who got some bad news at the doctor, and they tell you they're living life every single day, why would you walk away from that conversation and keep not living life every single day and not appreciating it until something happens to you? The time for you to enjoy your life is now. When people give you a wake-up call, take it. When people speak with you about how you can be better, do it, because it is up to you to be on the mark. When God asks you to be somewhere, it's up for you to hit that mark. It's up for you to be on that star, on that stage, and be ready. And if you're living in the past and you're living in the future and you're not living in the present, the irony of this, and I said this last week, the irony of people trying to control the past and control the future, you actually can affect them both by living in the present. The only way to affect all three things at the same time in a positive way is to live in the present, and here is why. If you live in the present, and you give it the best you can, and you appreciate your blessings, and you spend less time complaining and more time being positive and doing what's in your control, if you control the controllables, you be yourself, and you give it all you got, in your present, you build good memories, which become your past, and you build toward a better future, which becomes what's ahead of you. So you can actually affect the past and the future by affecting the present. The present is the only way to get all three in line.
Yes, sir.
It's the truth.
Yes, sir. Oh, you just said some words, man. Shout out to Jim, man. Like, it's inspired me what he said, you know, that the small things, and focus on the present, taking it one day at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 minute at a time, controlling the controllables. I've been hearing that. You know, football, you know, coaches say that every day, get 1% better. You know what I'm saying? Control the controllables, but and you take that in the life, and you listening to what you just said and how Jim broke it down, it's crazy how life works, man, and it all comes down to the same thing, no matter sports, life, your job, your whatever, you know what I'm saying? Family, anything, man. Take it one day at a time. Control the controllables, man. Be thankful for the present, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so crazy how everything forms in one, and how God makes everything. There's only one course, you know what I'm saying? There's only one course on how to take on life. And I'm not saying, like, there's only one way to take on life, but like I said, controlling the controllables, staying in the present, enjoying and being thankful for the present, man. And truly just getting 1% better each and every day, each and every second, man. And God will show you amazing glory. Glory, He'll give you glory at the end of the day. So that's the things that get you through the trials and tribulations, man, through life. Because life comes with it. Life comes with I always say, a brick thrown at you, you know what I'm saying, a bump in the road, you know, small accidents, all that type of stuff, man. It comes with it. But if you stay with that controllables, getting better 1% each and every day, man, all the other stuff you'll be blind to. It's like a horse when they on the beach. You know, in Virginia Beach, we got horses with the police with the horses, and they be on the beach and they got the blinders on. And I feel like controlling the controllables and all them things that we've been taught our whole life keeps them blinders on for all the distractions.
And it brings me to a quote, Romans 8:28 from the Bible. And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose.
Yes, sir.
And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. All things work together for good. How can we keep those blinders on and stay focused when the world is saying, because you know what? You brought up a great point. When I'm on the beach and I'm just focused on the sun and the sand and I'm here and I love it and I'm focused on my breath, I am in utopia. I don't even know there's anybody else on the beach.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But then when I look around the beach and I'm like, oh, well, you know, and then you get paranoid about this or worried about that or what about this or what about that. No, just right here. Just, you know, oh, they're playing football. You know, I'm trying to sleep. What if they hit my drink? What if this? What if that? No, it's when you put those blinders on, it's about, and that doesn't mean being narrow-minded and it doesn't mean being narrow-focused. It's not the same thing. When you put the blinders on and you just lay on the beach. I'm going to be real with you. When I'm with my girl, I don't see anybody else. I don't. I see nothing else. There's a bunch of people dancing and this and that. We went and ate on a beach somewhere and there's these people here and these people there. None of it mattered. The only thing that mattered was that she was the person sitting with me. And that, you know, you put the blinders on. Because when you put the blinders on, you have good relationships because you don't worry. When you put the blinders on, you stay focused in your job because you don't worry. Somebody asked me before when I was, looking at getting a job at a certain time and whatever. They were like, oh, are you listening to all the people that, you know, are competing with you? And I said, no. And they said, why? I said, because if I take the time to listen to them, I'm not prepping my own show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, and I mean, if you were backpedaling on a field and you're staring at all the other DBs, what are you going to do, Shamarko? You're going to fall over. So I don't care, and I don't say this in a cocky way. I say this in a very real way by the blessing of God. I do not care what any other broadcaster says or does. I do not care if they like me or not. I don't care what their show is about because they can't do it like I do it, and I don't have time to listen to them because I'm doing me. And I have to focus on how I'm going to change the world for the better. If they're changing the world for the better, awesome. If they're not changing the world for the better, you know what? Then that's their choice, and that's their kind of, you know, decision with God. But for me, I don't care. You don't care what the other DBs are doing. You don't care, you know, I mean, if you focus, that quarterback, if you got on the field and said that quarterback's really good, he's probably going to beat me, he will. So, you know, you don't get on the field of life saying, this person's more attractive than me, this person's smarter than me, this person's funnier than me. You go out there and say, I am Shamarko Thomas. God made me on purpose. When he made me on purpose, he put me here to love and to do good things. I'm going to give my all, and if I give my best to him, the people that actually love and care about me are going to know that that's enough for them. It's always enough. When you love God with everything you got, and you give it all you got, and you try your absolute best in life, the people that matter, the things that matter, will always show up, and the ones that don't matter. So why wake up in the morning and me say, oh, I wonder what all the other broadcasters are doing? No, I have to prep my show. I have to be ready to make a difference. I have to try. I live this every single day. And you have to put the blinders on to be present, to be the DB you want to be the dad you want to be the brother you want to be, for me to be the broadcaster I want to be, the future dad I want to be, the boyfriend that I want to be, the son I want to be. You make a decision every single day to remember the beach, remember your feet in the sand, and remember that when you got really, really tired and there was only one set of footprints, they weren't yours. Somebody bigger and better than you that created you for a purpose carried you that day, and you need to take the time to say thank you.
Amen. Amen. Well, ooh, you got to break it down right. It's real, though, man. It's real life, man. It's real life, man. Gratitude is the ultimate key. And being thankful is the ultimate key, man. I feel like my whole life, even when I didn't even know, so I always knew God was there. But, you know, as I told you, I had to grow into my faith as going through trials and tribulations, you know, and looking back on my life as a mature, a father, mentor, you know, all the stuff I've been through. I've always been grateful and thankful to God, you know, as a young kid because, you know, just seeing what my mom went through and how we came through. And I was always thankful and genuine and loved God in my heart. I might not know everything about him, but I know that he was there. It's like, bro, that's the reason why God has blessed me with all these things, you know. And I don't take it as, oh, Shamarko, you supposed to be there or nothing like that. Because, you know, so I work hard and I'm just, like I said, I'm head down and grind. But I thank God for giving me the opportunity to be in these positions, you know. And that's why I take it to another level with my work ethic, you know, my mindset, you know, and not getting distracted because how can I let myself get distracted when God's given me an opportunity a lot of people will wish for, you know what I'm saying? And people have been in the same situations or worse, like I always say, and their time might be slower than mine, and they felt like God has a rhythm on my life, and it will be, how I would put it, a devastation or a failure to just let what God has had for you, to let it go to waste by letting stuff like distraction get in the way. People telling you can't do social media. Like I always talk about social media. It's because everybody lives life perfect on social media, but I feel like when they get off social media, they cry hard. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because the social media is the fake life, and they turn to reality. You know what I'm saying? When they turn this phone off, you know, and I thank God that he didn't make me that way. He made me real and authentic, and I'm so grateful, and I take advantage of that in so many ways because why wouldn't I? You know, because ultimately his purpose is the greatest. And I don't know. It just made me look back on my life and see, like, I've always been faithful and grateful, man, and that would make me work even harder each and every second, each and every day, you know.
Yeah, you know, that's, you know, being authentic, being who you are. You never have to remember. I tell people all the time, I never have to remember what I say on the show. I never have to remember, oh my gosh, did I, you know, it's because it's how I feel. And when I'm in public and I talk about Tim Tebow and I'm on the show and I talk about Tim Tebow, for example, it's the same. And I remember working.
What do you think about Tim Tebow's situation?
I think he deserves a shot. I've said this for years. He deserves to be in a locker room because he changes the dynamic. Listen, I have been, for the better part of the last decade, I've been in the Jacksonville Jaguars locker room. And there's been so much trash in that locker room that Tim Tebow, Gardner Minshew, you know, there's guys that want to uplift, they want to help. AJ Boye, and who's not there anymore, which it sucks because he was great. Calais Campbell, who's not there anymore. You know, I think they missed the boat on some of the guys that they had in the locker room that really, I think, could have made a huge difference. And Chris Conley was great when he came. So, but I can tell you that I think Tim Tebow should be in the locker room because I think he makes a difference. I don't care if he's the long snapper, the punter, the tight end, the whatever. I'm not saying he should take somebody else's job. I'm saying that I think that, you know, this guy being on the team, being on the practice squad, whatever, I think he should be a part of the Jaguars because they need positive reinforcement, positive energy. They need to have, you know, he brings faith, he brings God, he brings love, he brings genuineness. I've met him a couple times. I would love to see any team take that and not do so. I mean, how can you take that and not do something good with it? So I think that him being in Jacksonville, him being at home, him being with Urban Meyer, who recruited him to the Florida Gators, I think it's a good scenario. And let's be real about this. Everybody pissing and moaning about him. There's no tight end on their team that's been their dedicated guy. Besides James O'Shaughnessy, it's I don't know, and I don't know. So the reality of it all is, how can you say, oh, he doesn't deserve to be a tight end, he's going to take someone's job? Whose job? Whose job is he going to take? Nobody on the team has been a dominant tight end. That's why they draft them. That's why they change them every year. So, I mean, to me, really, Tim Tebow, positive energy, faith in God, morals and values, and he wants to play tight end, and you don't have a tight end that you can trust. Hello? So, I mean, to me, if it was Travis Kelce and he was fighting to take Travis Kelce's job, then obviously it makes no sense.
Oh, no, I ain't
But
forgive me, but King, shout out my dog, Travis Kelce, man. He a different beast. I don't know. He wouldn't even be no calling.
But I don't know. I think he should be on the team. I think he does the team justice, be in the locker room, his motivational speeches and all that. So I respect him for that, and I think he should be on a team for that. And it frustrates me that people, especially in Jacksonville's situation, because nobody can name any of their tight ends unless you're a devout fan. You can name James O'Shaughnessy, who I respect. Outside of that, there's no.
O'Shaughnessy played the Jets.
He may have for a little while. He's been with the Jaguars for I want to say at least 3 seasons now. But yeah, I mean, I don't understand what the beef is with Tim. Just why do people care so much? I mean, Jamarcus Russell was 40 pounds overweight, and somebody worked him out to play quarterback, and nobody complained about that. So I just don't get it.
No, I respect it, man. Tim Tebow's a great guy. He's one of the guys I look up to. You know what I mean? When he was at the Gators, watched his words. And I truly think what you said is true. He's not just ultimately there to be a tight end. He's there to bring leadership, a different foundation. You know what I'm saying? And Urban Meyer know what he's doing at the end of the day. You know, these coaches don't win games and do all that just based off working hard and going on the field is a foundation, man. The teams I've been on that has a foundation and organizing really together, bro. And it's a certain people that bring it together, not just the coaches, it's the players. Man, they win.
Yeah.
They win. So everybody's doing the right thing, man. It's not just about the tight end. No. Tim Tebow is a great foundation in itself. Like I can't say nothing bad about him. Think about him. They was talking about him at the Broncos. What do you do? Take him to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, you cannot stop a man. You can't stop a man. A guy. You can't stop a man that literally lives his life to inspire others and genuinely hearted. You know, and you see it in his work. You know what I'm saying? Anything he does is amazing. And it's because God's got his footprint on him too, and his hand, and his whole body. But Tim Tebow, I feel like he's inside Tim Tebow sometimes, man. I respect him more. I don't even think about football and sports, no accolades he does, just as a man. You know what I'm saying? And just the way he lives his life. Because a guy like him can have so many distractions, but like I said, he got them blinders on, man, that he's not narrow-minded. He's not all that cockiness. He's who he's supposed to be.
Yeah. He is unapologetically himself, which is a beautiful thing. And so is Shamarko, and so am I. And On the Mark will be here for you many a time throughout the year, because Shamarko, with this new segment On the Mark that he'll be co-hosting with me, it's our way of telling you to get to know Shamarko a little bit better and a little bit more. He will be here more often. Shamarko, I'm excited about it. I'm thankful out of the goodness of your heart, and really just based on our friendship that you agreed to do this. So thank you for your time, and thank you for not only coming on the show, but thank you for the fact that when I pitched you this idea, you took it up right away without question. It really means a lot to me that you would want to be a part of the show, let alone an integral part of what I'm trying to do. So thank you for that.
Man, thank God, because at the end of the day, man, I know how genuine you are. We have conversations off the phone, we text, you know, and it's just an honor that you were willing to come out to give me an opportunity. You know, that's how genuine our friendship is, man. And like I said, it's just an honor, and I'm truly grateful. And I hope I can help inspire, you know, and show people that, man, the way of life and to overcome things and whatever we talk about here, even just having fun, you know what I'm saying? And create a new friendship. Maybe, this is a lifetime friendship. We might, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what this is going to do. And I just thank for the opportunity to get me out my shell, you know what I'm saying? And be who I'm supposed to be. It's an honor and it's a blessing.
And the honor and the blessing is on my side, too. Shamarko Thomas, On the Mark. It will be here with you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora exclusively. A lot of great stuff coming up. Shamarko, as always, stay blessed and stay well. I appreciate you, and I will be watching Fatherhood today per your request.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you, man. Peace and blessings, man. I enjoyed it. It was a great conversation. Hope people learn from this, man, and keep coming back and getting more from us.
All right, brother. I'll talk with you soon. Stay well, okay?
You too. God bless.
Take care. God bless. That coming from Shamarko Thomas here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. So appreciate you for being here, Shamarko, and I appreciate everybody for listening and watching. We'll take a step aside from the Cafe Kubal Studios. This is Wake Up Call, and we will be back momentarily with another new segment that's going to take another guest who frequently comes on the show and bring her into a place where she is going to have more of a reoccurring role here on Wake Up Call, which I'm very excited about. Sports ends in a vowel. Gina Castelli, myself, Dan Tortora, two Italians talking about sports and life. Sports ends in a vowel comes to you for the first time ever right after this.
Cafe Cabal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafecubal.com. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, located on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, is home to over 40 flavors with more than 200 flavors in their total wheelhouse. Sky's the limit for this sweet and savory Central New York company. Keep it local at your parties, fundraisers, wedding showers, baby showers, and more by calling 315-450-MA-PA. That's 315-450-6272 for popcorn bars with custom flavors and colors at your upcoming event. Make sure to visit them on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And for more information, go to maandpassnacks.com. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you download the app on the Google Play or Apple App Store, and you'll have everything at your fingertips, from the entire menu of homemade breads and desserts, as well as quinoa bowls, rice bowls, salads, and their brick oven pizzas, as well as their sandwiches that are named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our community and ingrained in our taste buds, the Millhouse Market is an amazing stop from wherever you are, wherever your travels may take you. And make sure that you head out there Tuesday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And when you go out there, you can go to the drive-thru, grab your food, and go after ordering on the app or calling them to place your order. You can also go inside and enjoy their indoor dining. Their bistro restaurant changes their menu every weekend. And you can also go into their general store, which is right next to the restaurant itself inside, and get local products from local companies, including honeys and syrups and different spices and whatnot that I picked up to help me cook in my own kitchen. So the Millhouse Market, going above and beyond, which truly makes it worth the drive every single time. So head out there today. With that being stated, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we're inside the Cafe Kubal Studios, and I'm honored and I'm privileged today, and I just said it off the air to Gina, that I get to not only do the thing that I love every single day, one of the things that I love, but I get to do it with people that I appreciate, people who I've built relationships with, people who I care about and want to see succeed, people that have been in my corner really from day zero without me even knowing it at times. And with starting a new segment with Shamarko called On the Mark, it's also a beautiful day to start another new segment in the inaugural jump-off of Sports Ends in a Vowel. And for those of you that are, fact checkers and whatever on social media, that would say, sports don't end in a vowel, Dan, my response to you would be, yeah, it does if you're Italian. And there's a silent A somewhere in sports, you just don't see it. So with that being said, for Tortora and Castelli. Gina Castelli, obviously, with the Italian vowel ending there. Myself, Tortora, with the vowel ending. With both of us being connected to the sports world and both of us being Italian, it made perfect sense to me to do something that had to do with both, which brought about the life of Sports Ends in a Vowel. It will be with us throughout each month, and Gina and I will have the opportunity to spend a lot more time here and a lot more real estate on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So with that being said, I proudly welcome somebody in who's no stranger to the broadcast, but the first time she's co-hosting a segment with me inside of the Cafe Kubal studios on Wake Up Call. Sports Ends in a Vowel. Gina Castelli, how you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I thought that was a very, very clever title. I like that. So thanks, Dan, and thanks for having me. I really appreciate working with you.
Yeah, and you just said to me off the air that at random times during the day, your mom can just show up making sauce, and I don't know how that more embodies Sports Ends in a Vowel than that. Like, oh yeah, well, we're talking about, what's going on with women's basketball and this, that, and whatever, and here's mom making sauce at 10 a.m. and, she's making it on a Tuesday to have it ready for Sunday. It's the amazing life of being an Italian. I don't think that we ever stop thinking about food or stop cooking, ever.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, I'm with my mom these last few days, and I'm always a little worried. Like she could be walking around, doing something, whether it's cleaning or making or baking something. The last time I had a Zoom call, she was in the kitchen and she was making sauce. And, oh my God, it was just so funny. But maybe one of these days we'll have her on. She's pretty good with sports. She watched the game with me last night, the NBA game last night, and she's making her own comments, which was just cool.
Yeah, and going to the NBA, I mean, the Final Four in the NBA, the Phoenix Suns, the Atlanta Hawks, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Los Angeles Clippers. None of these four teams does anybody expect really ever in the modern era, if at all, to win a championship. What are your thoughts on having a Final Four that doesn't say Lakers, Celtics, Sixers, the Golden State Warriors? What's it like for you to look at this Final Four and say, wow, whoever wins this thing was not picked to win this thing?
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to see new teams, and it's just great, to see other doors open up for NBA teams. And for me, I like them all. I absolutely love watching the Suns and the Atlanta Hawks. I have definitely a fondness for it because of Kevin Herter, and the Herter family is from the Capital District where currently I live, and I worked at Siena. His dad, Tom Herter, played at Siena when I first started coaching. So I know them and I know their family. So it's really cool to be a part of it. So we're big Atlanta Hawks fans right now, but I'm just really excited to see who ends up winning this, because the games have been really, really exciting. A couple blowouts here and there, but other than that, I think it's just been really exciting.
And it was so strange last night watching the Suns-Clippers game that I shouldn't say strange, but it was kind of unfortunate. We saw Booker go out there and score what I said was 7 points, but then they took the 3 and made it a 2. But he had scored 6 straight points, and he brought the team to, at that point, when they added the point back, whatever, an 8-point deficit. And then all of a sudden it blew wide open. It went from this single-digit deficit, a few possessions, to then the Clippers having their largest lead of the game. What can you say about the Clippers? I mean, again, they are doing this without Kawhi Leonard, and they figured out a way to beat the Jazz. This is a team that it took everything inside of them to beat the Mavericks. Then they went and beat the number 1 Jazz, who had the number 1 overall record in the entire NBA of 30 teams. And now here they are without Kawhi, and they're in a place with Phoenix where Phoenix leads the series 3-2, and with their back against the wall, the Clippers are not giving up or giving in, and they won this game in Phoenix. So, what's your take on the fact that this thing has gone 5 in, and again, the Clippers will have their backs against the wall on Wednesday, yet they don't seem to be giving up or giving in, and they don't have, arguably, not only their best player, but to many, the best player in the country, if not in the top 5?
Yeah, it's a really great question, and it's interesting because, I find that these teams that lose their star player end up playing more together. And, I know Paul George is is an incredible player, but it does seem that, even when the Suns are playing without Chris Paul for a little bit, it seemed like the ball was moving a little bit better and they were scoring and everybody was getting a hand in the wind in a sense. So, I think that's really what's happening with the Clippers. These are NBA guys. They're all good players. You can't get to the NBA if you're not a great player. And sometimes I think that these teams rely solely on their star guy that, the ball doesn't move well enough. And so consequently, when you do get a touch on the ball, you're not ready for it and you're not making shots. So, to me, I feel like, obviously that's one of Golden State Warriors' biggest thing is they move the ball really well. Everybody gets a touch, but their star guys do, end up with most points. But in general, when you see the ball moving more, there's just seems to be a little bit more of camaraderie out there and teamwork, and everybody's into it. And I think the Clippers have showed that, especially yesterday too. I think there's a little bit more, team play. So that's just my take. I'm not I'm not a pro scout or anything like that, but that's definitely something that I've been watching. And even when Payne was taking Chris Paul's place, I thought the ball just was moving a little bit more with the Suns, and it seemed like they were getting better touches with the ball.
Here with Gina Castelli in a new segment on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora entitled Sports Ends in a Vowel. 2 Italians, for those of you playing the home game, saying S isn't a vowel. But with everything changing in today's world and everything just being whatever people want it to be, maybe S will become a vowel. Maybe any letter can be a vowel. I have no idea. If 1 + 1 is 4, I've totally lost. We've lost control. So, but we're looking at, speaking of losing control, how about the reversal, gaining control? Playoff Paul, pandemic Paul, whatever people wanted to call Paul George. I can go back to the day when he played for the Pacers and was drafted, and I was down at Orlando Summer League for the NBA, and there's a bunch of teams there. Michael Jordan was there, Larry Bird was there, Patrick Ewing, I believe, was there at that one as well. And I got to interview Paul George when he was a rookie. Here's playoff, pandemic, whatever you want to call him, Paul, 41 points. This man continues to impress. He continues to do well. Apparently, whatever people said about him last year, whether he read it or not, he's made a definite contrast to that. He scored in the 5 games against Phoenix. He has 41, 23, 27, 26, and 34. What are your thoughts on Paul George, who has Phoenix still alive with his teammates despite not having Kawhi 5 games in, and the lowest this man has gone is 23 points, and the highest he went is 41, shooting 75% from the field in Game 5, 50% from three-point, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals to go with 41 points.
Yeah, that's just incredible, and it shows how hard he's worked. And really, the story with him right now is just how he came back after he missed the free throws. I think that's said a lot to me. About his mentality and his mental focus, and not bringing it to the next game. I think that really says it all. But yeah, he's a great player. He's a great player, and the team's playing well with him being kind of the star.
Yeah, he's been amazing. And, everybody focuses on Kawhi. And, it's always, if Kawhi is Batman, then Paul George is always Robin. Mm-hmm. But now, Paul George has had to step up, and he's had to be Batman. And I think he's done, obviously an incredible job at willing this team forward. But there's other guys that deserve credit. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention these players. And I get frustrated when I hear certain things like, oh, okay, well, Paul George this and Paul George that. And it's like, yeah, okay, I'm happy for him. But I also want to make mention that there's other players on the court. And one of those guys that really showed up and did some big things yesterday, including a monster slam in the fourth quarter, was Reggie Jackson, who had 23 points in 38 minutes and was 8 of 14 from the field himself. And, then we have Marcus Morris as well, 22 points in 39 minutes, a guy who has found longevity in the NBA. And how about DeMarcus Cousins, who comes out there, and he had a huge play later on in the game as well. His number is 15. He scored 15 off the bench. And he was one of the guys that, they could lean on late in the game, including for one of the plays where he was passed the ball underneath. He got fouled and still got the ball up and in. I think that we need to mention, Terrence Mann and Patrick Beverley had quieter night, but there's more than just Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And I think that, we need to really spotlight some of these guys. And I was thinking that last night when the game ended, and it was like Paul George has willed them to another, and I was like, what about Reggie Jackson?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I agree. I mean, again, it speaks to, when the star is away, I feel as though sometimes there seems to be like a little bit more of a lightness out there with some of the players, and that's with every team. And everybody thinks, they're going to be able to get a touch on the ball. And I think that's really, really important. And that's why there's so many contributors to that win last night. And, again, I mean, you need those star players to win championships, no doubt. But I think sometimes that goes unnoticed, like you said. And it's the same thing with Trae Young in Atlanta. He could maybe have just a very average game, but he's always the guy spotlighted. And, that's how the media works, as you know. So.
Yeah, that's how the media works, but not me. So it's always, it's kind of a normal rule of thumb that if the majority of the media herd, I call it the beehive, if they go in one direction, you'll probably find me somewhere else. And that's just how it is, and I'm very proud of that, and for many reasons. The other side of the thing, you brought up Atlanta, speaking here with Gina Castelli in a new segment on Wake Up Call called Sports Ends in a Vowel. If you don't understand that we're Italians talking about sports, and that's why I did it, I don't know how to help you, but I will do my best. Milwaukee and Atlanta is, very, very interesting in the sense of the fact that Milwaukee for the last couple of years was supposed to make it, and they didn't. And then here they are in a year where they were the third best team in the East, and they can still establish their dominance here, but it's just kind of funny coming into this year very different. Coming into this year as kind of an underdog. The last 2 years, they were a disappointment. Atlanta's got nothing to lose. So, I mean, what's your take on this series? We got Fear the Deer, and then we have the Hawks. We have, and I remember watching these teams way back in the day. And I was talking about Atlanta with Stacey Augmon and Dikembe Mutombo and Mookie Blaylock. I mean, just bringing all that back. And then Fear the Deer, remembering, Baker on the team and just like all of these. I remember how their logos used to be their entire jersey. There used to be a massive deer on the Bucks jersey, and the Hawks had a full-length hawk staring at you holding a basketball. So what do you think about these two teams making it that, really we're underdogs this year?
I think it's awesome. Like I said, I'm really happy, that this is happening in the NBA right now. And I think we need different teams to, keep the league exciting. And like I said, personally, I'm rooting for the Hawks for personal reasons more than anything else. But I think they're just going to be a team that's going to get better. I mean, they're very, very young and, and very naive. I think, going into games, you could tell in terms of they realize they have nothing to lose. So they play with a lot of heart and spirit. I think Milwaukee, obviously, to be honest, they they have a bigger team, so it's tough for Atlanta sometimes to match up with them. But I love the crowd. I love how the crowd gets into it with Giannis and counting down and, those type of things to see if he can miss free throws. And, he's got to work on his shot, for a great player. He definitely has to improve on that. But I mean, I just think it's just really exciting. And, to say that I'm really an expert in the NBA, I can't really say that, I know it all, but, my personal ties with Milwaukee, I lived out there for a year when I first started coaching at Marquette. So normally I would be rooting for Milwaukee, but because Kevin Huerter's in Atlanta, I feel like I have to show a little bit more ties there. So
yeah, I find it interesting that if Milwaukee keeps winning, Fear the Deer is going to be one of the most well-known hashtags out there.
yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, I guess when you live in upstate New York, I guess you fear the deer because you're trying to, keep yourself safe and your car intact. But I mean, what is your take on the rally cry of fear the deer? I mean, Atlanta's is Believe Atlanta, and it's forever true to Atlanta, and they have all this stuff on there. It's all about the city and forever Atlanta and be true to Atlanta and all that good stuff. But fear the deer. I mean, it's just, I remember when the Raptors played them, and I'm like, if we lose to a team, because all I could picture in my head was like a deer, just like you left a screen door open and it just runs through your living room and wreaks havoc on your couch. That's all I can picture in my head. It's not scary, but what's your take on if Fear the Deer, is all over championship gear at some point?
Well, I mean, I don't look at a deer as being scary. So other than just, ruining my plants, and, maybe darting out, obviously, on the highway, I could see that, but they're beautiful animals. So I don't know. That's how I see it too. It's not a real fearful thing, but that's their thing right now. So, got to go with it. Anything's catchy, if it catches, it goes on fire,
Yeah, fear the deer, still alive in the grand scheme of things here. Here with Gina Castelli in a new segment called Sports Ends in a Vowel. Two Italians talking about sports, and you'll hear Gina in a more recurring role with this segment, Sports Ends in a Vowel, exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Before I let you go, Gina, there was something that we set out to talk about today before we got going with the deer and went down that rabbit hole. So, and 1 + 1 is 4 and all the others. So we were talking about implementing this kind of ironic, implementing a plan and then carrying it out. The difficulty of putting a plan together, and then the also difficulty, if not more difficult, that once the plan is together and you feel good about it, implementing it and keeping it going. So you as a coach, and in many prominent leadership roles in your life, you know that you have to create plans and you know that you have to carry them out. Speak with me on the difficulty of implementing as well. I mean, the difficulty of creating a plan and then implementing that plan and keeping it going. How both of those things in and of themselves create their own issues and adversity, yet when you are leading, you have to have some type of where are you leading to?
Yeah, that's such a great question, that I think really is very important to being successful in whatever you're doing in coaching. There's really no real roadmap to it. I think everyone organizes their thoughts a little differently. But for me, I think, what I would like to say is culture always trumps strategy. So the first thing, the first thing I would say is talent always wins, so you need talented people when you're working with a group, and but talent plus a culture creates success. And so, for me, especially going into whether it was when I started my job at Siena or at at Lemoyne, I had a vision for what the program would look like, and in 4 or 5 years, what I wanted it to look like, and I had this vision at Lemoyne in particular of being in the NE10, moving up the ladder and winning a national championship. Now I knew that was on the grand scale, but I felt if I didn't have a big vision, we would only accomplish average goals. So that was the first part of it. And then once I went with what, this vision was, I just stuck to it. And, I communicated my vision to the people on my team, whether it was my coaching staff, players, recruits, on a consistent basis. It was a constant thing that even in recruiting, my very first call was, this is what my vision is for our program. And in order to do that, I need this kind of player. I need you to understand that this is the type of work that is going to be needed in order for us to do that. Are you on board with it? And if people were kind of hemming and hawing about it, and or if kids were like, yeah, I like basketball, I don't love it, I kind of moved on, because I knew that, those weren't going to be the people that were going to help me be successful and help us be successful at Lemoyne.
Yeah.
And then, it was a consistent communication of that vision, and I really tried to just simplify my words, in how I was communicating the vision. And again, just maybe saying, okay, national championship, what does that require? And like I said, every culture for a team is different. Our culture was, you had to work hard, and what did working hard look like? I would, give them examples of that. Having a great attitude was really important to me. What did that look like on the team? Being respectful for each other and the people that were trying to get you there. And obviously, trust was a major piece to a team and to chemistry. And so, those were the 4 things I consistently talked about while we were moving forward towards the goal. It was never something that I just said in the beginning of the year and didn't address it. It was a constant talk from the beginning of our practices. We had a mantra that we would all say, with hard work, attitude, respect, and trust, where we knew we were going, and we consistently did that. And I think that's what's important, is the consistency. And then, when you're developing your plan, your daily plan, your yearly plan, your monthly plan, your daily plan, those all go hand in hand. And to me, it's consistency. You just stick with the plan. And sometimes you do have to make adjustments to it, like you said, because you're always going to hit roadblocks, but you never just totally bag it, unless you really, you bag it by quitting, in a sense, and everybody could quit on it. But, we were seeing results from it. And when you see results, it's a lot easier to stick to the plan too. So it's not easy, I would say, but I do think that you have to be very disciplined, and you just got to keep sticking to what you believe in as a leader. And once you do that, and once you start seeing results as a team, you start getting people within your team to lead too. And that's like the best. As soon as you have players that are reinforcing your message, or people in your business that are reinforcing the boss's message, in a sense, you got a lot. That it starts rolling, winning roles, success roles, because people see that, what we're doing it in the right way, and we're winning, and we're becoming successful, we're becoming a better team, that, it just starts flowing. And that's the whole idea. And when there are setbacks, you just have to reel it in, maybe, even in games, when there's setbacks, you have to reel it in a timeout, take a deep breath, remind people where we're going and what we're headed to do in that game or in that particular year, and pick up your bootstraps and get going, So that to me is, how I have been able to, develop and implement plans.
And when you look at, implementing a plan and developing that, carrying that out, there's also the reality, Gina, that and as a kid, and I've said this before, when I was growing up and something didn't work out the way I wanted it to, somebody would say to me, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And I would say, I would get mad. I would get upset. I'd get frustrated. And I would say, yeah, okay, whatever. And I would keep trying to square peg, round hole. And now when people say to me, hey, Dan, this didn't work out with this job or this person or whatever, I would say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And so I've come full circle. What do you do when you try to plan out your life and you realize that some things just happen? Because there's the big things in plan, like you might be trying to figure out something on a larger scale, but the intimate part, like I want to be a dad, okay, for example. So I want to be a dad someday, but I'm not going to tell God how many kids I want to have or what gender, because I think if I tell God I want to have all girls, he's going to give me boys. So I think that, so the bigger picture is I want to have kids. That's a definite, but it's finding out, kind of what comes within it. I never thought I'd be back in Syracuse. When I was working down in Orlando, and so there's so many things that have happened that were not in my plans. The best things in my life were not in my plans. So when we talk about making plans, creating plans, implementing them, what can you say to the reality also that sometimes something far bigger and better than us, that I believe is God, has a plan that goes beyond what we could have imagined or what we could have thought, and maybe takes us to the same place on a different route, or maybe takes us to a totally different place on the route that we were on. There's something magical and beautiful to that, and I wanted to make sure we added that in too, because there is the reality of if sometimes you make what you think is a perfect plan and something happens and you have to be able to ad lib and adjust.
Yeah, that's just that's a great another great point, and yeah, there's just so many times when doors have been closed for me, but then the window's open, and I certainly believe that's God, making his plan work, and in terms of that, at night when I go to bed and I say my prayers, I always say, I'm not sure what you have planned for me, but what you've already have done for me has been great, and I'm open to whatever is next. And so, I think that the faith piece to this, there's a lot to it, and for me, and with coaching, when plans didn't work or when we did hit major bumps in the road, I can tell you many times where, I had big plans for our season at Siena, and we would start out, and this happened to me quite frequently, which was so odd. We would start out 0-5 or 0-8, and then we would have to rebound back because I was so consumed with winning and, the pressure to do well, that it was almost like God was doing the opposite for me, So it's just, and then, again, taking a step back and thinking, all right, this isn't what it's about. And, finding the joy again and the love for why you do what you do is so much better when you're enjoying what you're doing. And it just seemed like when I was doing things for, in a sense, the right reasons, enjoyment and for love and, for service, more doors were opening for me and more wins were coming. It was just, it was bizarre, but it was a great lesson for me. And, and that's why I think it was easy for me too, to end my career, as a head coach, because I wasn't as scared. I wasn't as fearful, because I knew that I know that God has a better plan for me, and I know that whatever that is, I'm very open to it. I think that's really, really important what you had said.
No, and I appreciate that, but it is, and I deal with that in life all the time, and I deal with that in conversations of there's only so far that you could take something, because I'm a firm believer that you could be like, okay, we're gonna live here, we're gonna do this, and you plan it all out for like 7 months, and then something happens, and it's like, okay, well, we're not gonna live there anymore, we're gonna live over here. So I think you have to have an idea. Like, okay, I wake up every day and say, okay, I'm going to do my show. But there's a bunch of things that happen with technical issues and updates and upgrades, and this doesn't talk to this, and this system's not working with that. And people don't see that. But my goal every day is to be on the air. My goal every day is to put my show out there, make sure it looks good, make sure it's a good product, make sure that I'm staying true to who I am, that I'm, preparing things and whatnot. But it may have to go through another avenue to look the way I want it to look. It may, take more time for something to work. There may be an update. There may be this. So those things I can't plan, but the overall plan is that I'm doing my show. I have a plan to go down to Disney, and I want to run around, Disney World for 5 days. But as a pass holder, I can only get 3 days at a time, so I may not be able to get the 4th and 5th day based on occupancy if they're still restricting access. So, what are my plan is to go down there and to control what I can control and to do everything I can. But if I have those other days free, what am I going to do with them? I think you always have, it's good to have a plan, but it's funny that if somebody asked me to describe myself and said, well, are you a planner or are you a fly by the seat of your pants? I'm both. And I'm both because I don't think you should live life with no plan. Like, I have no food in my house. I have nothing to eat. I didn't pay my light bill. Like, you can't do that stuff. But you also have to have a plan if the lights go out and if there isn't food there, or, and I tell people this all the time. If I cook in a kitchen I've never been in before, they're like, what spices do you need? And I'll say, whatever's in your cabinet, I'll make it work. And because I like the challenge. So, I think functioning somewhere in between planning things out and having a plan, where, like, if you have to get to the airport, you have to have a plan of what you're going to do for the day. Can you get everything done you want to get done? And can you also get to the airport on time? That's where a plan is important. But within the day itself, if you plan out to go to this restaurant and you find out it's closed, are you going to, be upset all day, or are you going to find another place to eat? So I think you have to function in the world of plan the things out that are crucial to plan out, and then understand that there's things that you can try to plan that are out of your control. Like, okay, I'm going to get married, and within the first 5 months, we're going to get pregnant, we're going to have a baby, da-da-da. It could take a year. It could take 2 months. And I think that those are the things where you try to put together the best plan you can, but I've realized in life that some of the unplanned things are some of the best blessings, if not the best blessings in life, are the things that you didn't plan for.
Right. Yeah. And, on a very small scale, that's why I love sports and, basketball, because, when you were talking, I was thinking, that's just like if you go into a game and you have this plan, you're a scout on a team and you're going to play man-to-man defense, and they're killing you, like driving to the basket, and you get fouls. And so now you got to switch, which, for me, not really a zone defensive coach, I have to make this game time adjustment that we're going to play zone, and but when you change it, you have to be confident that it's going to work. And sometimes I think, like, when you're a coach or, anyone, when you have to make those kind of lifetime or game time adjustments and you're like not totally confident in that zone defense, okay, team, we're going to go, we're going to play our zone, but you're like on pins and needles the whole time you change it up. You have to be open to it. Like you just said, like you're okay with that, with the spices in the cabinet, like whatever you got, we could do. And that's how you have to relay the message to people when that is happening, when your plan's not working. It's like, okay, we got a great zone D. Let's go to our zone. Let's go our plan B. And, same thing with got a great plan B. This is plan B, didn't have kid in 5 months, but we'll try, in a couple more years, maybe it's just, and you have to be okay with it. And you got to roll with those punches in a positive light.
Yeah, it comes down. I mean, it's even with cooking. You're cooking. You're in the kitchen. You're putting your sauce together, and you realize you forgot to buy garlic. So, do you have minced garlic? Do you have garlic salts? Do you have? What'd you say?
That stinks if you forget to buy garlic.
Yeah, but it's like you got something that you can utilize to, put it all together, and. Yeah. You have to be able to do that. So I think the best. I mean, and again, you could put together a great plan as a coach, and your zone could be working, and everything could be beautiful for the majority of the game. And in the last 2 minutes, you may have to ad lib and switch to man because the team you're playing is hitting a ton of threes. So you could be stubborn and stick to your zone, Gina, or you could say, you know what, the zone worked for 3/4 of the game, but in this last quarter, I have to switch to man if I want to hold this lead and win this game. So it's not that the plan doesn't work. It's that sometimes within the plan, you have to ad-lib in order to get the result that you're hoping for.
Exactly.
That coming from Gina Castelli and myself, Dan Tortora. Sports Ends in a Vowel is the segment. It's going to put Gina Castelli on the show plenty more, and very excited to have her. This felt like we were on the show for 2 minutes together. So I guess if that's how the segment is, we're doing something right, Gina.
Thank you very much. Yes, it was fun. I appreciate this. Yeah.
And I kept you off the video so that your mom could make sauce this morning. So, but as always, I definitely appreciate having you here on the show. I'm so excited and thankful that you agreed to do this segment with me, where we can spotlight you more often and have more conversations throughout the year on a more consistent basis. So. Thank you for being open to that, and for the creation of Sports Ends in a Vowel, because it's one thing to respect you as a coach. It's one thing to have built our friendship over the years, but it's another thing for you to dedicate time purposefully every single month to the show and to me and to what I'm trying to do. So I want to definitely express a lot of gratitude for that and let you know that it doesn't go unnoticed.
Well, I appreciate it. This has been great for me, and I'm really looking forward to it, Dan. It was fun. It was fun.
Coming from Gina Castelli, Sports Ends in a Vowel. We'll talk with Gina very, very soon. In the meantime, Gina, take care of yourself and go help Mom with the sauce, and make sure she bought garlic, okay? Because that could.
I'm taking her shopping right now. So,
all right.
Thanks, Dan. All right.
Talk to you soon. You too. See you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
That coming from Gina Castelli here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. So we'll take a step aside for our final fast break. We'll be back with the ingredients to success right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Avicolli, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, is our home for our exclusive on-site, on-location Liverpool Warriors Athletics Sports Show. We'll be there every single month on the pizza side of things to enjoy with you our time with the community of Liverpool High School, as well as the community gathering together at Avicolli's. So beautiful that we get to support local student athletes and a local business all at the same time, right down the road from one another. So make sure you make it out there every single month to come see us. You can find out when we're going to be there and at what time by going to Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. Avicolli's is now open Tuesday through Sunday, and on Tuesday through Sunday, they have the opportunity to seat you for lunch, dinner, and drinks, and in multiple different locations, all in one in your one-stop shop at Avicolli's. You can eat outside or inside, and inside you can go to the bar, fine dining, or the pizza side, and you can sit outside by the flowers and have a good time there on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. Make sure that you get in touch with them also at myavicollis.com for takeout, delivery, and catering, and you can also call 315-622-5100. Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding, your homes for your furry-loving friends for short and long-term care. When it comes to needing someone to take care of the dog for the day, or if you're going on vacation, you're renovating the house, whatever it may be, Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding are an extension of your family. They treat their dogs that come in as, they treat them as their own. And there's nobody, as you know how much I love Lily, there's nobody I trust more than Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding, who have taken great care of Miss Lily and so many dogs in our community. Go to 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse to the dog daycare, and for the campground is right around the corner on 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, right off of Bridge Street, right by BJ's in East Syracuse. PB&J's Lunchbox, I was just there yesterday getting that grilled peanut butter and jelly and bringing people over that have never been there before, because I love bringing in new customers to PB&J's and to all of our fantastic clients. PB&J's Lunchbox, located on 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York, is minutes from the Thruway, the Highway, Destiny, USA, and Onondaga Parkway. PB&J's Lunchbox, the truck that you know from so many different events in central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So with the truck, they now have a place. The truck will come to you. You can now go to them. PB&J's Lunchbox. When you're craving their food, you can go there all throughout the week, Monday through Saturday, from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, Monday through Saturday, to PB&J's Lunchbox. And their outdoor dining is now set and ready to go for you, so make sure you head out there for that too. 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, right off the water in Skinny Atlas. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics goes one step farther when it comes to taking care of you. They're there for surgery and for all of your injuries, but they're also there with preventative care, rehab, and physical therapy. And more than anything else, the most important thing I've taken from Victory is they listen to their patients, they care about what you have to say, and they describe what's happening. It is so difficult to find a team that truly takes the time to take the time and to listen and to care. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is not only good at what they do, but they care about the people that they're helping every single day. They understand that Victory is a multi-step process, and led by Dr. Mark Petropoli, they do things the right way, which has gotten me out there for almost a decade. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Call them to make an appointment today, 315-685-7544. That's 315-685-7544. With that being stated here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we're at our final piece of today's show and every Tuesday broadcast, and that is the Ingredients to Success, proudly brought to you by Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. So very happy to have Avicolli's here with us all throughout the week, and of course being on site on location once a month and every Tuesday having the Ingredients to Success. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. And the topic for the day for this week for the Ingredients to Success, what I would have to say in this respect, going off of my conversation with Shamarko and my conversation with Gina, Shamarko talked about having to navigate through tough waters and being able to ad-lib. And Gina and I just talked about putting a plan together, enacting that plan, and then understanding that sometimes things affect that plan and you have to be able to ad-lib. So I think it's perfect in the Ingredients to Success to talk about how adversity commands the best of us. And what I mean by that is going through adversity compels us to grow, compels us to be ready even if we're not, compels us to find a way even when we don't know how to. So, the Ingredients to Success in navigating adversity is to pray, always ask God for guidance and for help, to surround yourself with good, supportive people that want to see you succeed, thinking things through when adversity strikes and when you have to ad-lib to things, thinking things through. This is the thing. If you know what your end goal is, I find it easier to ad-lib when you know where you're trying to go, right? It's like being on a video game. If a defender's in your way, okay, let's take Madden. You're playing Madden, and you want to run to the right, but you see that the person you're playing has stacked the box and they're leaning toward the right side. So you call an audible and you shift the run to the left. You want to reach the end zone. That's the main goal. You want to go right. Are you going to be stuck in your ways and go right anyways and have a 10-yard loss because they've already stacked the box and leaned toward the right? Or are you going to readjust and go to the left? Or are you going to readjust and throw a pass instead? Ad-libbing in life, the same outcome. Listen, planning is a good thing, right? You have to plan the movers when you're moving. You can't just go pick up the car whenever. You can't just willy-nilly. I mean, you gotta pack things up. You got to put things in a box. You got to go room by room and kind of know how you're going to go about it. So there are moments when planning is imperative. And there's moments when planning is not going to work out the way that we thought it would, right? There's times where you have to be able to fly by the seat of your pants. So when we ad-lib in life and we try to figure things out, the ingredients to success are, first and foremost, like I said, I believe having faith is above everything and praying to God. Believing in yourself and believing in those around you. If you don't have faith in the people around you, you need to check yourself. Is that because you don't trust anybody? Or is that because those people have given you plenty of reason to not trust them? Because you have to really understand your surroundings and who you choose to be around. When you're handling adversity, you have to know what your end goal is. If your end goal is to get to the end zone and you can't run to the right, then you either run to the left or you fake the run and you throw a pass. Right? If they stack the box, then send somebody deep downfield. I think the best success in life comes from people who have the ingredients to be a good planner and the ingredients to be a good ad-libber. Because you're going to have to do both, right? You plan to be to the airport, so you leave 2 hours in advance. But you didn't plan for there to be traffic, so then you think, okay, well, I know that if I take this parallel road, it might take a few minutes longer, but it'll get me out of this traffic. And I didn't take this path originally because it adds 20 minutes to my trip. But if I'm going to be stuck in this traffic, I'd rather take the 20 minutes than take what could be an hour here and miss my flight. I'm going to have to ad-lib and do that. So planning is important because you have to put the boxes to get set to go. You gotta know when you got to get to the airport. You got to plan out when you're going to do your hair and your makeup and, put your dress on and all that good stuff and, fix your tie and take your shower and all that stuff so that you can be ready for dinner with your parents. You have to plan, but you also have to be able to ad-lib, right? What if you plan to wear this shirt and you didn't realize there was a stain on it and it throws off your whole ensemble? What if your tie just doesn't seem to look right today? What if something rips? What if when you're taking the shower it's only cold water? There's a lot of things that are going to happen out of your control. And if you want to lead a successful life, you have to be just as good of a planner as you are an ad-libber. And with that being said, I want to bid you adieu for today's show. Avicolli is bringing you the ingredients to success every Tuesday to round out our Tuesday show. And Avicolli is also bringing you the best veal in town and so many great opportunities to make your taste buds so excited about all of the Italian goodness that is at Avicolli's. From their margarita pizza to their meat lovers pizza, which you're seeing right now on the screen on Facebook and YouTube, to their veal parmesan and their antipasto and their wings and so on and so forth. Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. There for you Tuesday through Sunday for their pizza, more casual side, their fine dining side, their bar, and their outdoor dining as well. as their takeout, delivery, and catering by calling 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. You can also go to myavicollis.com. I want to thank my guests today, and not only my guests, but two people that have not only been good to me and appreciated our relationship and really fostered, bringing about a great bond with one another. Not only have these people been great to me, but agreeing to do a segment and to be a reoccurring part of my show. These are guests on the show. Like I said, we've had over 2,000 guests on the show. For there to be people that really want to dedicate their time to making my show better, making their life better, people that seek to improve and seek to help and seek to be here. And not only be here, but be here in a reoccurring way and in a dedicated way. I don't have enough words to say thank you to Shamarko Thomas and Gina Castelli and Juanita Ward and so on and so forth. So for On the Mark, get set and get ready to hear this every single month on Wake Up Call with Shamarko Thomas. Sports Ends in a Vowel. Get ready to have some fun here with Gina Castelli and I, as we did today. A lot of great stuff coming up, and this show being a true time capsule of the first moment that Shamarko came here with a segment he's co-hosting with me, and Gina Castelli with a segment that she's co-hosting with me, and of course the Ingredients to Success, which every Tuesday is an awesome blessing to do, proudly presented by Avicolli's. Great people and great service to the community, so I appreciate having them be a part of this very successful, positive segment called The Ingredients to Success. So with all of that being said, from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, for Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin', I want to thank you for watching and listening every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports truly meets that thing called life, on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.com. And, of course, by going to our archives on Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, YouTube, and iTunes and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, iHeartRadio, Podbean, and so much more. By searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, you could find our archive on Podbean. Over 1,500 episodes are up there for you now. So make sure you search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on all of these avenues, including searching Wake Up Call DT as one word. Thank you to our Central and Upstate New York partners. We appreciate you all. And this is the best team I've ever put together, by the grace of God. Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicolli's, the Millhouse Market, Honda City of Liverpool, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, PB&J's Lunchbox, and Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Use my personal promo code at maandpazpopcorn.com to have delivered to any one of the 50 states your favorite kettle corn. If you've never tried it, you got to try it. Give it a shot. You will not be disappointed. And if you've had it, you already know how good it is. maandpazpopcorn.com for in-store pickup or delivery to any one of the 50 states. Go online to place your order and use my promo code DT20 online only. maandpazpopcorn.com. Use my promo code DT20 for 20% off. So make sure that you do that today, as it's up here every single Monday through Friday. So, with that being said, find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. For now, from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, I appreciate you. Thank you for being a part of the show. God bless. No stress. Do your best. We'll talk soon.